Hello and welcome back to Saber Outdoors. My name, of course, is Mark Alexander, your wonderful host. And guys, today we are testing underwater with different cut tails on these swim baits. Guys, a paddle tail swim bait is one of the most basic, most well-used swim baits in America. You can get them from a crappie slider all the way up to something ginormous. You can get them like that, which I think is a little excessive in my opinion. But guys, today we're going to go from this all the way down in different cuts to no tail whatsoever. And we're going to see, does it get a really quick action like this? Does it get a really wild action? Does it just go all over the place? We're going to find those things out as we work down our swim bait. And guys, this is not an easy video to film. I'm gonna have to use both my cameras, and I'm gonna have to do some future shots for this. So you're gonna see me, and then you're gonna see the footage of what it looks like underwater, and then of course I won't see that footage until afterwards. So I'm gonna go home, review the footage, and then I'll be able to talk about it further with you. But guys, let's get down to it. All right guys, we're gonna put you under the water, and the first thing we're gonna do is just straight plain old paddle tail swim bait to see how this runs. So going down. All right, guys, so I am up here in my my room editing the video that you are currently watching. You can see the footage is right there. And I just watched the footage of just a regular paddle tail swim bait. I am going to do this relatively quickly so that we are not here all afternoon. So, I did not realize that this rode upward like this as it was doing its thing. It was pretty neat to see how flat it was as I zoomed it right past the camera. But guys, we've seen what a regular paddle tail swim bait looks like, so let's go watch the next one, see if it looks any different. All right guys, so you just saw the thing, and you saw my analysis, which of course past me has not seen. But what we're going to do next up on the docket is something that looks very similar, but in fact is not. So this is of course the full boot tail swim bait. This looks that way, but it's not. I have cut slits, if you can see them, on either side. I wonder if that will let water through and give it a more subtle action, or if it'll be the same action because the plastic is all still there. But guys, let's get to our underwater footage right here. Alright guys, so I just barely watched the underwater footage, and guys, you know, I predicted about 50% one way or the other, whether it would be unchanged or it would be more subtle. Unfortunately, it is unchanged at this point. This is still has all the plastic, and while yes, some water gets through, and I slowed that last footage down extra slow so you could see that a little water is getting through. Not enough is getting through in order to change the action a lot. So guys, let's go to the next tail. Alright guys, so we finished up with our slit cut one, so let's see how it is whenever we extend those to a diamond cut. Because I think that this will swim somewhat differently than the past two. I don't know what it looked like straight on, but it looked like from up above that it didn't do a whole lot of difference. But guys, let's put this underwater and see what it looks like. Alright guys, so I just barely watched the exact footage that you just barely watched. And guys, I didn't realize that, first off, when this is going fast, these wings will actually pin themselves back. And it has a more exaggerated action. The back end will actually twist, almost plumb around, which I did not expect. Didn't expect that at all. Now, when you're going slow, it's still kind of tail happy. It wants to ride the tail a little bit high. But when you're going fast, man, that action is so dynamite. Like if I were burning this over top of bass, like, of course, you have to stick your tip of your rod in the water, but that would be running across them, and it would be a wild, exaggerated, erratic motion, and I think it would be great. But guys, let's go to past young me for the next tale. All right, guys, so next up on our fishing mission, so this is what is known as a pulse tail. So I haven't cut a ton off of either side, but I have taken my little scissors and snipped either side. I wonder if this will start to give me that narrowed in action. I don't know if I've already gotten it with the others because I'm not seeing that underwater footage like you and future me will see it. So guys, let's get it in the water. Alright guys, so I just barely watched the same footage that you all just watched, and past me was so wonderful. But future me is even better because I've had more time to mature. But, speaking of such, we have this pulse tail here. Now guys, I was quite surprised. Now, if you know what a real pulse tail swim bait does, it has a really lazy action like this. Not this. This action was great. Actually, it was quite surprising because the tail would move really well. It's still tail happy. It still wants to ride with the tail up. I guess that might just be the design of the bait. I don't know. Because these are only Ozark Trail swim baits. I didn't do this to like Kitex. But this has such a slow startup speed. I slowed that last clip down, and I'm choosing my clips very carefully as far as what's my slow clip at the end. See how slowly that tail, even though I'm only jumping at maybe 6 inches, that tail is already going up and down. And that's really, really cool. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I didn't expect it to have that quick of a startup on it. But guys, that's enough said about this tail. Let's get to the next tail. All right, guys, so we've got our most cut down. It's almost completely gone at this point. This is what I would call a T-tail. I don't know if I said it for the last one. It is a pulse tail. So this one's like a T-tail here. I'm gonna see if it gives me a really nice small action. From looking, top down, it seems like I get this action no matter how much I cut the tail off, but maybe with it being nearly gone, I'll get that tight action that I'm wondering if I will get. But no way to know until we go. Alright guys, so I have both my pulse tail as well as my T-tail. You can see the difference in the two. So my pulse tail has a really low startup and pretty decent action. My T-tail only has action when it's zooming through the water. If it's not zooming through the water, there's not enough to move the tail. It just glides across. It doesn't really have much motion at all. I did notice when I was jigging it, though, it has the slightest amount of movement going up and down. But definitely, I guess it's just the design of these. They're tail happy. The tail just wants to do this. And I apologize for that burp. Excuse me, please. But it just wants to ride like this no matter how much of this tail I cut off. Except for the next tail that I will do. And future me is going to pass it back to past me. Alright guys, so you knew the inevitable was coming. It's cut plumb off now. So guys, I don't expect any motion at all from the tail. But I do want to know, if I do this, will this serve as like a weird, funky fluke? I don't know, but guys, let's get it in the water and see what it looks like compared to the others. All right, guys, so you just barely watched the straight tail, the no tail, whatever you would like to call this. You just barely saw how it acts in the water as you are reeling it, or jumping it, or jerking it. And before I talk any more about it, I'm going to say, if you like watching these underwater footage videos, let me know in the comments. And if you look in the description, I have put a link to the entire underwater footage portion of this video. Footage I did not use in this video is located there. So if you like the underwater footage and you want to see more, go there. You will see more. That video's, I think, like 8 minutes long of nothing but swim baits doing swim bait things. But guys, whenever that, I'm going to leave that video available through that link for a week. After that week, it's going to go behind the members wall. So guys, if you want to see that, you better be, first off, subscribed so that you can see when I post videos, because this one's coming out on Saturday. And the reason that it's coming out on Saturday is because Saturday, today, is the 2-year anniversary of Saber Outdoors. So I thought I would post an extra Saturday video in appreciation for you subscribers that I have now, and for those subscribers I may have later, and those members that I have later will be able to see that full amount of underwater footage after I put it behind the membership wall. And memberships are only $5 a month. Guys, I'm not asking for the moon. I'm not hardly even asking for a McDonald's sandwich. $5 to watch everything I put online before the rest of the world gets its hands on it. And guys, sometimes that's one video, or sometimes if it's a high volume time of year, it could be 10. But guys, as far as this bait goes, I would be very curious to see how this would perform behind not a paddle tail, that's what it is, a chatterbait. I would be very surprised to see what it looks like behind a chatterbait. I bet this would dominate behind a chatterbait. But I have nothing more for this video. Thank you all for 2 years of Saber Outdoors, and $5 for a membership. If you want to do the free 99 thing, all you have to do is subscribe, like, share, subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you see it all the time. And thank you so very much again for watching. We'll see you somewhere in the woods or on the water.